Very simple statement. In God we trust. Every one of us has, at least $1 in his pocket, and he believes in God we trust, isn't it? But practically, how we are going to establish this, and what are the advantages of it? Why do I have to trust God? And also, before I come to that, is there a God I have to trust first? What's happening in our community now and globally, people start questioning, is there God? Why? Because, they claim, look at the war here, war there, people are dying, people are starving, people are getting sick, young kids, they are having cancer. If there is God, how come that happening? I don't see what's a relation. I do not see what's a relation, especially in United States, when we see, I was listening to the radio and they are talking about weapon control. One of the worst countries in the world is our country. We don't have enough regulations to stop killing kids in schools and shooting, which is very bad. If I design a knife and yet someone start using it to kill people, does it mean I'm a bad designer? I have, to be blamed for? Allah created this universe. It is limited universe. Never said this universe is perfect. From very limited particles, as you know, whether it's Big Bang or any other theory, we used to be energy somehow in this universe, and in physics we say energy cannot be destroyed nor can be created. Where did that first energy come from is not my business now, but it's a very nice argument, isn't it? Why we have energy. Okay, you tell me, we start from a small particle. Okay, good for you. Before that particle, what did we have? We have energy. Where did we get the energy from? I do not know. So if someone would like to sound smart, start using big words, parallel universe. Okay, good. Where did we get the second universe from? Just name it. We're not going to end. There is always an initial point. Energy cannot be destroyed nor can be created. And energy, as you know, thermodynamics people, maybe they know better because my field is electrical and computer engineering. Okay, we know that energy goes, from one phase to another. The longer the age of this universe, we are going to end up what? Reaching 0 Kelvin, isn't it? So we have a problem. Scientists, they can answer how things work. How? How we can transfer this to that. How we can build this. How we can, find the cure for a virus. How we can put these two molecules together. How we can use, accelerators to get the nuclear, for instance, particles. We are good at how. But why? We do not know. The wisdom behind it, we do not know. We know certain numbers of chromosomes from mom and dad. We have a human. Missing a small one, tough luck, you are a different person, different entity, isn't it? So, why we are having a body or biological set, okay, we call it a human, insisting to have offspring, to continue life, to have kids, to be consistent. Why do we have that? We do not know. That's why we do not know it. We might talk about evolution here and there. We'll discuss that later on. We can talk about Darwinism. But why we have that? Why we have particle, back to my point, went to, let's say, DNA or RNA, and we had all this amino things, proteins, just name it, and then we have a, biological life. Why? We know how, maybe, somehow. If I don't mention the probability, this is another disaster, Usually atheists, they do not like probabilities. Okay? Maybe they like more quantum physics, but this is not my subject now. So, too many things around us, if you look at it, it's very complex. So to deny God is not something simple. That's what I want to point to. All this introduction to reach a small point. When we believe in God, we are not believing in something. We are creating it because we are hopeless. No. Because we are rational people and you are irrational people. When you deny Him, it's very important. And as I said, we'll discuss this later on. We have upcoming, inshallah, lectures. We'll talk about it. When I talk about believing in God, that God is not in need of me. And if there is anything in this universe not perfect, not because He is not perfect, because this universe is limited. Where is perfection? Beyond this dimension. How? I'll give you an example. Your soul. Your body is not perfect. Your soul is going into real, if you want to call it, between parentheses, evolution. It's evolving. It's going to come to a point it can survive beyond this earth. It's not going to die. Like energy cannot be destroyed. So if there is any true, real evolution, it's for the soul more than the body. What do I mean by that? I'm not going to say, look, I was arguing with an Indian, fellow. He was telling me, what, if you are good, if you are bad, God will punish you. I said, how? He said, He's going to take your soul, put it in an animal. So your soul will be in a dog or monkey or it's a punishment. Then I said, and if I were to be good? He said, oh, God will put your soul in another human body. I said, trust me, this is a punishment, not the other one. Okay. When we talk about evolution, when we talk about the soul is more perfect than regular limited laws that we see here. What do I mean by that? See, and this is argumentative, I'm fine with it, but I'm going to just use it to make things getting closer to understand. Let's say when you are sleeping, okay, you sleep, you have a dream. You can see yourself, I'm not talking about Inceptions here, movie, but you can see yourself jumping from one dimension to another, one country to another, and sometimes you have a vision. After a day or so, you can see it a reality. You say, hey, I had a vision. So an atheist is not going to say, oh, this is old memory. No, you tell to your friend, and after a week or so, it happens. Isn't it? It's a vision. It's not just a dream, we say. Why? Because here we're talking about the soul, not about the body. The soul uses the body. The soul is in need of the body. It's a tool. The body is a tool. The more you are stick to that tool, the more the soul will be limited. When you are at night, the soul is less limited to the body. It's like, you are driving a car. You need the car to reach a certain destination. Okay? But your car is limiting you. You cannot walk. You cannot, stand. You are limited to once you are out of the car, you get your freedom. This is like a relation between your soul and body. And that's why, when you see some people are happy, they say, okay, and don't take me here literally. They say, when you are so happy, your soul becomes very happy to a point your body will be very limited when it comes to expressions. And that's why you might have heart attack. You might start shouting, dancing. Hey, you know. What? Because your happiness is beyond your limited body. That's the soul. So when we say we trust God because He gave us that soul that does not deal only with materialistic things. And opposite to atheists, brothers and sisters. The majority of people, they believe in God. And it is proven, you have certain areas in your brain is dedicated to believe in God. And the more you believe in God, the more complex that area would be. Mr. Atheist, what he's gonna tell you, oh, that was evolved. We invented the idea of God, so evolved with us. But that's good for you, you know. But for us, no, we believe there is God. فطرة الله التي فطر الناس عليها. Allah put something in us to believe in Him. And that's why you brothers and sisters here, you are not here in this cold weather because you are looking for hasanat. I mean, what kind of religion is going to push you to go to Hajj where you have to pay money and you might get hurt, okay, and you have to take off from your work to please Allah? Why? Because there is something inside you calling you to believe in Him. That's something very important. We see believing in God to people way much easier than disbelieving in Him. So when we say we trust God, it's not something we are inventing. It's not an illusion. It's not because we cannot find explanations for things. It's not because, you know what, we cannot find a solution. You know what, we believe in God and we put it, you know, God is accountable for. No, this is not our God. We believe in God not because we believe in, fairy tale story. We believe in myth. No. This is against Islam. Anyway, in order to believe in God in Islam, you have to have an evidence. And to deny Him, you have to have a strong evidence, not just wishes. And I can assure you, most of the atheists I met in this community and other countries, other states, they have no evidence. They have wishes. Because not believing in God will make them lawless, will make them less responsible, will make them careless, and that's good for them. Which is good not to, you know, I'm telling you, what's helping this community? What's happening in the country? Imagine now how many police we have in this community. Let's say 500, 5,000. If the crime rates start increasing, you think 5,000 will cover up the community anymore? No. So what's going to help us? Self-monitoring. Self-goodness. That's what's going to keep the community good. If I want to go with atheism, what's going to happen? You are going to start, without paying attention, becomes what? You are going to become utilitarian. You know what's utilitarian, isn't it? From utility, you know, utility, it's something benefit us at home. I'm not talking about Detroit Edison or, you know, utilities. We call it utilities. I'm not making advertisement for any here, okay? Utilitarian approach, we talk about cost benefit. So no more mercy, no more good emotion. We are numbers. We are money, you know. You want that? When you don't believe in God, you start weighing cost and benefit. If benefits better than the cost, we go with the benefits. Islam will tell you no. You know, in one of my sessions, I was teaching engineering ethics, and I asked the students very simple question. I told them, if we have a pregnant mom, and we have to find exclusive solution, one has to survive, either the mom or the fetus. Which one we have to keep alive? You human, you atheist, give us a solution. What should we do? What's the answer? You think atheism is going to help us here? Cost benefit, apply it. Mom, why? Oh, mom, because the mom has more kids, let's give her a chance. Oh, this is the solution now? But you're killing a baby. Baby is a human life. It's a soul. If you do not see it, that does not mean does not have a right to exist. You are a monster. So what is the solution? And just name it. So many ethical dilemmas we are going to enter once we start stopping believing in God. Why? Because not believing in God is going to make you a businessman. You know, you look for benefits, that's it. While in Islam, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُ بِالْعَدْلِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ. We do not just go for justice. We have to be kind to others. This is not in their dictionary. Maybe they want to be kind. Some of them, they are kind. Okay? But why? Because to them, it's give and take. It's a relation. You know, scratch my back, I scratch your back. In Islam, we don't do that. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. Why? Why we are Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salam, they say in Islam, this story is very important to show you the importance of believing in God and trusting Him. And this is a big subject. We cannot finish it today, but let me remind you about this story, and we look at it from different dimensions. Al-Hasan fasting, Al-Hussein fasting, فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام سيدة نساء العالمين المعصومة الطاهرة fasting, Al-Imam Ali bin Abi Talib fasting. Why? Because they had nadhr. What's nadhr? Vow. If, this happens, God, we will fast 3 days. What happened? Because it's a very nice, homogeneous family with good harmony, good relation with God, the whole family fasted, not just one person. So, during iftar, mustahab, nadhr, sawm nadhr. Sawm al-nadhr, you have to do it. You have to apply it. You say, nadhran lillahi alayya nadhr an asum 3 ayyam. You have to. It's wajib. So anyway, the first day they were fasting, the whole family. They put the iftar. And definitely the iftar is not a chicken shawarma and shish kebab and, no, iftar is nothing, simple. Simple. Those Ahl al-Bayt. You know what's Ahl al-Bayt? Ahl al-Bayt used to be rich, not poor. But everything was given to the people. Just for some people, they think the Prophet was poor, You are talking about a leader. He had so many followers. We talk about Ahl al-Bayt. They have lots of lands. But the outcome was for people. And you see Ali alayhi salam used to go dig wells, water, to get water for people for some dates. He come back and give it to his family. That's Ali ibn Abi Talib. But where are the rich people like Muawiyah and where is Ali? Isn't it? Anyway, it's something reminds me here. I was talking to a fellow American. He was telling me, all this Ali bin Abi Talib story is fake. It's impossible. There is no way a person can be like that. Well, guess what? We have. It's called Ali bin Abi Talib. So back to this story. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا. Al-miskin, very poor person. Knock on the door. We need to eat. So Ali bin Abi Talib gave him his food. Then Fatima did the same. Then Hassan did the same. Then Hussein did the same. Alhamdulillah, the kids were not busy on PlayStation and, fortnight, so they paid attention what the family is doing. Now, this is something terrible nowadays we have. You do something and your kids are somewhere else. What a shame. They don't even pay attention to your good attributes. This is very important. You want to come to the mosque, bring your kids to the mosque, if you can. So it's not like you are in a good position, and that's why we say Fatima alayha salam used to wake at night making salah. Making salah. Salat al-Layl. Who was watching? Al-Hassan. Mom, why don't you make dua for yourself? You are sick. Why you just make dua for your neighbor? You know the story. But what I want to get from this? قالت الجار ثم الدار. Neighbors, then we talk about us, But what I want to point out here, don't live in different galaxies. Everyone in the family is in different galaxy, different environment. You give him or her a cell phone, tablet, PlayStation. They are virtually somewhere and you are physically somewhere else. This is not a functioning family. This is dysfunctional family. Anyway, so the first day they gave their food out as a charity. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا. Second day, fasting. They want to break their fast. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا. Orphan came knocking on the door. I am an orphan. Anything for me? Same thing. They gave them the food. They gave out the food. Third day, asira, prisoner, helpless. They gave out the food to him as well. Al-Quran, Ibrahim alayhi salam came with this ayah. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. What's the lesson here? What did they give? $10,000 lunch? $1 million donation? Open a non-profit organization for, homeless people? Something simple, yet it was documented. We read it every day, every generation. Why? Because the heart, the sacrifice, it's more than important than the giving. But what's the idea? إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ. Why are we giving you our food and we are starving after? Why? So people can say we are generous? So you can come back at a point and help us out and give us food? No. We give and we are not waiting for a return. إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً. We don't even look for thank you. And that's why when we give and some people deny us and put us down, we should not worry, because it's for the sake of Allah. So when we trust God and we believe in Him, not because we just do good so people can do good for us. No, because this is our law. This is our identity. This is our personality, our character. We are connected to the Almighty, the Omni-Given, the rich. This is very important. For atheists, no, it's not going to work this way. It's going to be paper and pen. Oh, non-profit organization. Okay, I try to help, tax deduction. Other than that, questionable. Questionable. So back to the idea, when we trust that God, we trust Him because by trusting Him, we are trusting His laws and legislation. What kind of laws and legislations we're talking about? Sometimes the laws we do not agree with, we are not familiar with. Why I have to make wudu? Why? Does not make sense, they will tell you. No, don't say does not make sense. It's something different. Big difference. Yes, in Islam we do not have anything irrational. We don't have this. Nothing. And that's why Islam was very straightforward. Don't say God is a three. God is one. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. No question. That's it. But there are rules. You do not know the advantage of them because you are limited. And we'll talk about these maybe inshallah later on. From lahm al-halal to marriage to divorce to just name it. So we have laws and legislations, and I want to emphasize on this. Those laws and legislations not to make us numb and disable and deactivate our brain and intelligence. Is the opposite. Is to make us more intelligent, to question more, to ask more, to seek the evidences more. Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He talks to us, He said, قُلْ سِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Go see how I created things. Go check the laws. Go check the orders. Go see how things are created. Don't be afraid. So He's calling you to be knowledgeable, to be aware, to be rational, to use your common sense. And so many ayat. أَفَلَا يَتَفَكَّرُونَ أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ. Use your intelligence, use your common sense, use your brain, use your rational thinking, use your analysis. Even when we talk about Quran, why we believe in Quran? Why? Because we use our brain, our intelligence. Our intelligence is going to lead us to, oh, this is not from Muhammad who wrote it, as they say. It's from God. I'll give you an example quickly. But before I come to that example, let's close here the brackets. Islam is against irrational thinking. Islam is against all this nonsense analysis. We don't believe in God just because we want to believe in God. We don't, you know what, we do not understand this universe. Let's invent the idea of God. No, this is not Islam. That's impossible. It's not accepted. I'll give you how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made us use our brain and analysis. Something very simple. We read 1,400 years. Okay? 1,400 years ago, a person in Arabia, his name is Muhammad bin Abdullah. The highest tech he had back then, the highest tech, camel, a tent, sword, some water, dates, and sand. What's there? What kind of civilization we had during the Prophet? Nothing. You're talking about Arabic people, al-jahiliyyah, al-jahla, no knowledge. Imagine a person, he is dealing with this primitive life. He comes to us and he tells us, this is the Quran, not him, but I'm using their argument. He's saying, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ أَوَلَمْ يَرَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أن السماوات والأرض كانتا رتقا ففتقناهما وجعلنا من الماء كل شيء حي. Look at the ayah. أولم يرى الذين كفروا. The disbelievers, don't they see how we created this universe? Some narration and some explanations of this, they say it was one unit. Now, is it that particle, Big Bang? It's not my job now. This is a different story. But why, for the heaven's sakes? Why a person in a desert, he might think about galaxies and universe and life? Why? I'm just questioning. I mean, we are engineers, we are businessmen. We don't have time. Do we have time for this? So why he's worried about it? And what if science at a point tells him, hey, you are lying, which did not happen. It's the opposite. Now, if we are searching for a life in a planet, we search for water. What the ayah said? وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ. When there is water, because of water, we have living things. So you ask Prophet Muhammad, why the word used water only? What about hawa? Can we survive without oxygen? Even in desert. I mean, in a desert, 3 days without water, you might survive. Can you survive without air for 3 days? No. So how come you did not add air to the equation? Or food? Because science now, what they are going to tell you, there are certain bacteria, if you expose them to oxygen, they will burn and die. But there is no living entity alive, biological entity. There is no biological entity can survive without water. 1,400 years ago. Or when he said, وَجَعَلْنَا السَّمَاءَ سَقْفًا مَحْفُوظًا. So there is a layer around us, protecting us. How did he know about this? That's, I said, we'll come to those later on. But I want here to point out why we trust God. We trust God because we have reasons. We believe in Him because we have reasons. We have evidences. We are not believing in something that has no real evidence. No, we have. You might question the evidence. It's up to you. But we, as believers, we do not take it blinded. No, we have our evidence. We have our argument. And we trust Him. And because we trust Him, we can live in a better, comfortable life, at least when it comes to our hearts. Because when we feel there is someone is supervising us, someone we can call, we can be very comfortable. You know the story, they say if you are sick and you don't believe in God, invent a God. You might feel comfortable. You might feel comfortable. And this is a book I remember we read a long time ago called Super Immunity. Invent a God and believe Him, they will tell you. We don't say this. We say there is a real God and we believe in Him and we have our proofs and evidences. Inshallah, we'll talk about these later on. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. And the rest of the session, if you have questions, I would like, to be around and answer any of those, whether here or close to that. Yeah, please. Thank you again. I appreciate your time. And also remember us in your dua. We need that. تقبل الله أعمالكم.